Tucker Carlson, he got some explaining to do, continues to say some of the most extreme things against Donald Trump in private conversations. However, when he goes on his television show, he hates his viewers so much, he lies to them. Or maybe he just loves the money so much. Maybe a little bit of both. Here it is.
The crowd was enormous. A small percentage of them were hooligans. They committed vandalism. You've seen their pictures again and again. But the overwhelming majority weren't. They were peaceful, they were orderly and meek. These were not insurrectionists, they were sightseers. Footage from inside the Capitol overturns the story you've heard about January 6th. Protesters queue up in neat little lines. They give each other tours outside the Speaker's office. They take cheerful selfies and they smile. They're not destroying the Capitol, they obviously revere the Capitol. They're there because they believe the election was stolen from them. They believe in the system. Here's the man you've heard referred to as the QAnon shaman outside the Senate chamber. These are not rioters. These are people who wandered over from a political rally.
Fascinating. The lies are so extreme that Mitch Moscow McConnell had to do a press conference and call out the reporting of fixed news. You have to tell some tall tales and long lies to get McConnell to say, wait a minute, now damn it, that's too far. Ladies and gentlemen, Tucker Carlson was given this footage by Speaker McCarthy because McCarthy defies medical science every day by standing upright with no backbone. And this is an intentional redesign, redeveloping, and reframing of the entire historical context. What is history? His story. And that is what Tucker Carlson is engaged in right now. Pure rhetoric, but he's doing it to save his own ass. Why? Because all of these text messages that are coming out showing that he has disdain for his own viewers, that he never believed anything he said on that television screen. He is trying to win back the bigots because the bigots pay him money. You see, Tucker Carlson is the worst kind of hypocrite. He's not a Kool-Aid drinker. He refuses to drink the Kool-Aid. He just wants to make money off the fact that others do. Now, here's what really happened on January 6th.
Multiple capital injuries. Multiple capital injuries. Oh my God.
There were officers on the ground. They were bleeding. They were throwing up. I mean, I saw friends with blood all over their faces. I was slipping in people's blood.
As I was swarmed by a violent mob, they ripped off my badge. They grabbed and stripped me of my radio. They seized ammunition that was secured to my body. They began to beat me with their fists and with what felt like hard metal objects.
I didn't think that I was just going to be killed. I thought other things were going to happen to me as well.
So what sounds like what you're telling me right now is that you didn't only think that you were going to die, you thought you were going to be raped.
Yeah, I thought I was.
Pro-police, you say. Pro-law and order. You believe in the Constitution, you tell people. Don't be shocked, ladies and gentlemen, that individuals like Tucker Carlson and others would engage in this kind of revisionist history. These are the same people who would lie on God, literally, to justify their own position and evil. Mitch McConnell had this to say. Here it is.
It was a mistake, in my view, for Fox News to depict this in a way that's completely at variance with what our chief law enforcement official here at the Capitol thinks.
Yeah, it's called a damn lie, Mitch. You should have been as forceful about your criticism of Fox News as you are about your criticism of people who say defund the police, perhaps. Now, the man who gave Tucker the footage, McCarthy, well, he had this to say.
Tucker Carlson. Last night he went on, so this was a mostly peaceful chaos, as he said. He downplayed Brian Sicknick's death, said it was not related to January 6th, said this was not an insurrection. Do you regret giving him this footage so he could whitewash the events of that day?
No, I said at the very beginning, transparency. And so what I wanted to produce for everybody is exactly what I said, that people can actually look at it and see what's going on that day. So.
But why for portrayal of what happened that day?
Look, each person can come up with their own conclusion, but what I just want to make sure is I had transparency.
Feckless leadership. The real speaker is Matt Gaetz. All right, now Tucker has something to say. Here's a little tuck.
They're all on the same side. So it's actually not about left and right. It's not about Republican and Democrat. Here you have people with shared interests. The open borders people, the people like Mitch McConnell who are living in splendor on Chinese money. The people who underneath it all have everything in common are all aligned against everyone else. And that would include almost all news organizations in this country as well. And so if you're watching this, it might be kind of interesting to keep a list, because one thing we learned today is that they're all in agreement with each other. They kind of outed themselves. They sort of showed their membership cards and whatever club this is to the public. So keep a list. If you want to know who's actually aligned, despite the illusion of partisanship, we found out today.
Your membership is showing too, sir. The KKK. Now, let me highlight an irony here. Let's put it up. So while Tucker Carlson basically brushes off all of his lies, he is the same person who said he hated Donald Trump. So it's funny he mentions alignment because 2 days before the violent January 6th insurrection terrorist attack, Tucker Carlson privately said that he hated Donald Trump. I hate him passionately, Carlson texted an unknown staffer. I blew up at Peter Navarro today in frustration. I actually like Peter, but I can't handle much more of this. He then added, we're all pretending we've got a lot to show for it. Because admitting what a disaster has been is too tough to digest. But come on. There isn't really an upside to Trump. In a text to one of his show's producers, as the Capitol riots rage, Carlson called Trump a demonic force and a destroyer. And then he hopped his manipulative, opportunistic ass on TV and represents a point of view contrary to the truth he knows. You see, Tucker, at this point, I would say, sir, search your soul. I don't think you have one any longer. A.B., thoughts here?
I am so confused how you can fix your space to see 3 people in a hallway roaming around and say that this was the majority of the crowd that was being peaceful, and in the same scene see 50,000 people rushing a building, crawling over each other, like the violence and the chaos that is happening. The delusion happening right now at Fox News is astronomical to me. I'm so confused. Like y'all need to be telling these stories at the Disney Channel, because this is not real life at this point, right? Like, and the people who watch Fox News should be quite disrespected right now that you are watching the video of this happening, of what people did on the nation's capital, and the nerve of this news station to try to tell you contrary to what you could see with your own eyes. It just doesn't make sense. I don't know if that toupee on his head is too thick and he can't think, can't breathe, but that's not what we saw at this point. Like, it's getting ridiculous. And for you to admit that Trump is demonic and he is a problem, why do y'all keep standing out on a limb for this man? Why do y'all keep walking out on the ledge? you're getting sued for billions of dollars because you blatantly told a lie. And the truth is in your text messages behind closed doors. This is the problem, again, with society and with democracy. In order for democracy to stand, we have to hold it together. When you tell lies like this, once you tell one lie, you gotta tell another, and it starts to spiral. And we are seeing that spiral now. On top of that, the very people who keep y'all network alive, like the Mitch McConnells and the Trumps, they not fooling with y'all. And that is it's gonna really harm them, right? When it comes down to election time, but they're not even fooling with y'all. So I think this is really ridiculous of Tucker Carlson. Y'all would have been better off leaving this alone. And for McCarthy, child, they beat you up for 15 rounds and you still ain't got nothing to show for it, okay? If you wanted to be transparent, you should have gave that video to the other networks as well. You gave it to Tucker because you knew it was gonna give you some talking points. But at this point, you have been shown as the most weak third person in line for the presidency we have ever come across in quite some time. You didn't even have the power to get the seat without giving over everything except for your dog's bowl of water, okay? Yeah. You gave up everything you had to get that position, and now you are being disrespected in front of the American people and being shown how much of a fraud and a weak individual you are. And I pray to God that nothing ever happens, that you ever have to step foot as president, because we are doomed.
Yeah, we're very close to it already.